Consider a pure exchange economy with two goods, good X and Y. Ravi and Suraj are two individuals with utility function this. So do you see that they have they're trying to test you for how good you are with understanding that they are just doing a monotonic transformation of the original production function. मतलब अगर मैं इसको rewrite करूं कैसे, तो I can rewrite this as UR is equal to log xy to the power beta. मतलब मेरा original utility function can also be x to the power beta, y to the power beta. And this is much easy to work with if I don't have log. And it will give you the same answer. Because these are monotonic transformation. MRS iska nikalo ya iska nikalo. You will get the same MRS. So in that sense, even if you know what monotonic transformation is and you work with this, you're fine. जैसे अगर इसकी जगह पे someone would have said me find competitive equilibrium, then I knew that this is a Cobb-Douglas function and यहाँ पे x star होता है alpha upon alpha plus beta m by px. So this would have been beta upon beta plus beta income by px. So this would have been half m by px. This would have been the demand of individual one. Without solving, we would have known this. So you should be well thorough with monotonic transformations also. Okay, let's come back to the question. So you're given this utility function. Let me show you how to do it. Let's do it here. So UR is beta log xy. पहले ध्यान से जहां पे भी UR है, so that you don't get confused later on, make it to XR and YR. Now find MRS of individual R. Either find for this or find for x to the power R, y to the power R, whole to the power beta. You will get the same answer. So what is MRS? It is MUX by MUY. Differentiate this with respect to x. You will get beta into 1 by, if I differentiate this, I am showing you here. So beta log x y का हो जाएगा xy only. Or xy का differentiation when you will do with respect to x, you will get y. Right? Alternatively, if you would have done for this utility function, xy to the power beta का अगर करते, what would you have got? Beta xy to the power beta minus 1 into y. Yeah. Now do for MUY, what will you get? Beta log xy का could have been 1 by xy. Differentiation of y will be x. So this gets cancelled, this gets cancelled, and MRS will be y by x. Now do for this one एक बारी, so it will be beta xy to the power beta minus 1 और xy का हो जाएगा x. When you divide these two, यहाँ से भी MRS आएगा y by x. So what I mean to say here is whether you go ahead and find MRS using method 1 or you find MRS using method 2, you will get the same answer. It is not going to change. It's the same thing. Okay, so I've just found out the MRS for individual R. Now find MRS for individual S. Again, if you look at this utility function, US, this is xy to the power alpha. If you want, you can take log and simplify it, or you can do this directly, up to you. So what is going to be MRS of S? MUX by MUY. When you differentiate this with respect to x, what will you get? Alpha x by y to the power alpha minus 1 into With respect to y, you will x, you will get 1 by y. And when you differentiate this with respect to y, what will you get? Alpha x by y to the power alpha minus 1. Y is coming in the denominator. So y का differentiation होगा minus 1 by y square. So it will be minus x by y. This will get cancelled, 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 cancelled. So you will get 1 by y into y square by minus x. So you will get minus y by. Again, I am saying, make sure that you write S everywhere here. This is the MRS of individual S. This is the MRS of individual R. If you don't write this correctly, then when you equate to find Pareto efficiency, we will be in a trouble. Okay, now this was saying find the contract curve. So contract curve equation क्या होती है? When MRS of individual R is equal to MRS of individual S. This is what the contract curve is. So MRS of individual R is YR by XR is equal to S का होगा minus YS by XS. Just solve this. What will you get? You will get YR XS is equal to minus XR YS. So you will get YR XS plus XR YS equal to 0. Now, once you have solved this, you have to just write everything in terms of R. If you see the options, it is in terms of individual R. S kahin nahi hai. So I have to just make sure that this S is removed from everywhere. We can easily do that. How will we do that? If you go ahead and you see, we know that XR plus XS is A. So instead of XS, I can write A minus XR. Similarly, it is given that YR plus YS is B. So instead of YS, I will write B minus YR into XR equal to 0. So when you will rewrite this equation, what will you get? You will go ahead and get A YR minus XR YR plus B XR minus XR YR equal to 0. This is what you will get. And when you start solving this, it will give you A YR plus B XR minus 2 XR YR equal to 0. So this will be your answer. So the answer to this question is going to be A YR plus B XR minus 2 XR YR, which means option number. Quickly, let's write down the takeaways from this question. What are the takeaways of this question? The takeaways of this question are that first, we should know what is a contract curve. A contract curve shows us the Pareto efficient points of all the individuals. A Pareto efficient point of individual is where I can equate MRS of individual 1 to MRS of individual B. Not always. If it would have been a min function, just min of x, y hota. So individual B ke liye we would just have equated x equal to y. So his equation would have been xb equal to y. But in this case, I know where the way that the curves are given to me, I know that the contract curve will have MRS A equal to MRS. Achha, if you quickly look and glance through it, you will see that MRS of R, individual R, this is a function of y by R. And MRS of individual X, jab hum S, That's also y by xs only. So which means that the slopes are a function of y by s. So this is fine to us, right? The way that the slopes have come up are fine. This is the only way to solve these. These are my continuous functions. These are neither my substitute good function nor perfect complementary good function. So I am able to use MRS A equal to MRS B concept, right? That's the first takeaway. So your homework from this is to go ahead and find equation of contract curve for different cases. You have to do this, all of you. Take function min, just do it. Take one of the function as substitute good and one as min, do it. Take one as quasi-linear, one as min, do it. So we have done multiple such cases in our advanced lectures. You are supposed to go ahead and try most of them, okay? Achha, then second takeaway from this question is how to go ahead and use endowment back in the contract curve so that the entire contract curve is written in terms of single individual. That is also what you're required to do. And the last takeaway from this question is how they can go ahead and give you monotonic transformations of the function, and you should be able to work with those also. Okay. Now come to the next question. Which of the following statements are correct? And they have given game of two individuals, A and B. Now, what I want you to do here is understand that although this is a very basic question, it may happen that in exam, next time, we may be given mixed strategies. So, please go ahead and solve few questions. Because simultaneous came this time now, so you should solve few questions on mixed strategy equilibrium and few on sequential game. Bas, itna aur karna, right? Okay, let's come to this game. Actually, this is the game of battles. We already know how to solve it. So when Mary goes for movie, between movie and football, 1 is greater than 0, so payoff is 1. When Mary goes for football, between movie and football, 2 is greater than 0, so payoff is 2. When John goes for movie, between 2 and 0, 2 is greater, so 2. When John goes for football, between 0 and 1, 1 is greater, so 1. So the two Nash equilibriums we have are movie, and football. We again know this one, prisoner's dilemma, classic problem. So when you go for not confessing, between -1 and 0, 0 is greater. Between -9 and -5, -5 is greater. Between -1 and 0, 0 is greater. Between -9 and -5, minus. So what we see, this is the only Nash. We have discussed this in class that this is Nash, but not Pareto. This is Pareto equilibrium, right? You should remember this. So the answer to this question is in game A, both movie, football are equilibrium. And in game B, confessing the Nash equilibrium. So D is correct. Okay. Come to the next question. The short run production function is given to you as Q is equal to 200 plus 0.2 L square minus 0.0004 LQ. How do I know this is a short run production function? Of course, I see fixed cost. Not fixed cost, sorry. I see that they're talking about average variable cost. So that is why I know that this is a short run production. So ye to production function, right? Then they say that the wage rate is 140 and the number of labor is 100. The question that they've asked is find marginal cost and average variable cost. Achha, okay. Let us first begin by finding marginal cost. To do that, I want to use a formula. Very, very simple. Each individual is paid money according to his marginal product, according to his product. So what happens in this case is that W by P, the real wage that any individual gets, that is equal to the marginal product. So that should be equal to MP. How do I find marginal product? देखो, ये production function मुझे दिया हुआ. This is given to you. So to find the marginal product, I just have to find how Q changes as L changes. If I differentiate this with respect to L, what will I get? 0.2 into 2L minus 0.004 into 3L square. This is what I will get. This is my marginal product of labor. And they have gone ahead and they have given you that L is 100. So if you put 100 here and you put 100 here, then you should be able to get a value. So you will get this marginal product as 28. Just solve this on your own. Okay? Just put 100 here and 100 here. You will get marginal product as 28. So we have been able to solve that marginal product as 28. What is the wage given? It's given 140. By P is equal to 20. So P क्या हो गया? 140 divided by 28, which is going to be 5. We use the property that marginal cost is supply curve of firm, which means P should be equal to MC for this firm. So marginal cost will also be 5. So we solve that the marginal cost of the firm, this is 5. That's the first thing. This is what you have gone ahead and solved. And the marginal cost of the firm is 5. Now let's talk about the average variable cost. Okay. So what is average variable cost? Average variable cost will be total variable cost by output. Okay. What is total variable cost? It is nothing but the cost you incur on your variable input. What is your variable input? Labor. So each unit of labor gets W and I am incurring on L units of labor. This is my total variable cost divided by the quantity. So each unit of labor, the wage rate that I am giving is given to me as 140. The number of labors given to me are 100 divided by Q. Now this Q is given to you. What is this Q exactly given to you as? This. ये function दिया हुआ है ना. In this Q I can put L and get the value of quantity. So the Q is given to me as Q is equal to 200 plus 0.2 L square minus 0.0004 L. Put L equal to 100. So in here you will get 100, यहाँ पे 100. You will get the value of Q as 1800. Just put and check. Okay. So after you get this Q as 1800, what is going to happen? I'm going to say that this is 140 into 100 by 80. And this is going to give me 7.7. So the answer to this question is 5 and 7.7. So you see, the question is very, very simple. The question is just asking me about MC and ABC. But again, they are testing more of your logic. Do you remember this formula? Do you remember that the real wage is equal to the marginal productivity? Each labor is paid according to his marginal product. Do you remember that MC is the supply curve of the firm? So I can equate P equal to MC. Do you remember that AVC is TVC by Q and TVC is the cost incurred on your variable input? It will be done in just. Okay. So now what we will do is, this is the question on again elasticity. So it's very interesting that they give so much importance to elasticity. But this uses the concept of differentiation. So let's just do that. So it says that the demand and supply function are given to you. And we know that whenever we talk about equilibrium, then we know that demand and supply must be equal. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to equate demand, which is a function. So it says that demand is a function of Px and I, price and income. So I'm going to equate the demand equation to the supply equation. And supply is a function of Px and advertisement expenditure. So G of Px and A. Now, you must go ahead and you must know how to differentiate these functions. So F is a function of Px and I. So if I have to do a total differentiation, F changes with respect to Px, dPx, plus F changes with respect to I, di, G changes with respect to Px, dPx, G changes with respect to A. Okay. Now just go ahead and do one thing. Just bring Px on the same side. So I will get del F by del Px minus del G by del Px, Px, dPx equal to del G by del A, dA minus del F by del I. This is what I have been able to get. Achha, once I get this, then can I go ahead and can I solve for the first part? It says, let's leave the first. Talk about the second first. It says how price changes as A changes. Okay. So if I have to ask how price changes as A changes, it means that I have to put DI equal to 0. That is what the question is asking me to do. So just go ahead and put DI equal to 0 once. What will you get? So say put DI equal to 0. When you put this equal to 0, you will get del F by del Px minus del G by del Px dPx equal to del G by del A dA. So you will get del Px by del A equal to del G by del A upon del F by del Px minus del G by del Px. This is what you are going to go ahead and you're going to get. So if you go ahead and you solve this, what is going to happen now? This is your answer, how price changes as A changes. That means this one. So do you think that it's the same thing? It is. If you see numerator is del G by del A and denominator is del F by del Px minus del G by del Px, which means that we have gone ahead and we have got the same answer. So this is exactly matching the scenario. So this is the correct thing. Now, once I have gone ahead and I have found out how to solve this, can I find the elasticities? I can. Elasticity is very easy to find from here. So what do I do for finding the elasticity? Let's put down the formula of elasticity. And when we do that, you will get elasticity of Px with respect to A will be how P changes as A changes into A by Px. And I have already gone ahead and I have found this value. ये वाला तो निकाल ही दिया है. Here, this is what the value is. So I can easily go ahead and I can multiply this by A by Px. And if I multiply this by A by Px, I have been able to get the value of elasticity. So I get that value. So just multiply it. This is my answer. Now, if you notice in the question, they have gone ahead and they have just molded this question by putting Q's everywhere. No problem. We can also go ahead and put Q. So what will I do? I will just say that, okay, now let us just rewrite this equation. And ये A ऊपर है ना, तो A को ऊपर कर देते हैं. Px denominator में है, तो Px को we will keep it in the denominator. And then I will go ahead and I will just have Q's everywhere. So Px is in the denominator. I don't have to put 1 by Px. Just Px in the denominator. And now I am just going ahead and dividing by Q everywhere. This is the only thing that I have done according to what they're asking me in the question. So they have written in terms of Q. I also want to write in terms of Q. That is why I just divided everywhere by Q. And otherwise, A by P was already there. So now if you go ahead and you notice, this is exactly what this option is. So this is correct. A is also correct and B is also correct. Now let's talk about option C. When I talk about option C, this asks me elasticity of P with respect to I. अब यहीं से देख लो एक बारी जरा. If I go back to my total differentiation and I have to find elasticity with respect to I, then I will put dA equal to 0 here. If I will put dA equal to 0, the numerator, what will I get? I will have this now. So if I just put dA equal to 0, what is going to happen? I am going to go ahead and get this. Here, I will get minus del F by del I di, because I'm putting dA equal to 0. And here in the numerator, then I will get minus del F by del I. और A की जगह पे I बन जाएगा, because it is with respect to I, with respect to income. So if you notice, I have minus del F by del I in the numerator, and here they have given me del G by del I in the numerator. This is incorrect. Del G by del I was there for the first one. Here I have del F by del I. This is not correct. Finally, it says the sign of dP by dA does not depend on del G by del A. Incorrect, because we just showed that this depends on this. This is coming in the numerator. This is also incorrect. So the correct options are A and, come to the next question, please.